Everyone, my soul fams. So we're gonna get started in just a few minutes with an Athena Greek Goddess meditation. So thank you so much for, first of all, being here, sharing this with people. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and just like check out more content. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching too, go ahead and check out the link in my description down low for one-on-one coaching if you're looking to accelerate your ascension. So before we get started, if you guys do not know anything about the Greek goddess Athena, so Athena is one of the daughters of Zeus, and she has the ability of knowing a lot of different things. So she usually has like an owl with her, and the owl in Native American shamanism and totem energy means wisdom or knowing the unknown, diving into untapped powers. All right, so today what we're going to be doing is asking a few questions from Patreon on the shadow and polarity and positivity. So when we're dealing with trying to keep a positive focus, it's very natural for us to step into this feeling of, our shadow stepping in and telling us no, that we can't actually be positive, that we cannot actually be expansive. So that's going to be a lot of our focus today with this meditation. As always, we're going to allow ourselves to just embrace the energy of this moment and just relax. Allow your mind to open up as we start calling in the Greek goddess Athena. Take a deep breath in and out. In and out. In and out. I don't happen to have a pen right now on me because I am not at home. So I'm going to actually attach a link to the bottom of this description for the symbol of Athena. We're still going to be able to tap into that symbol just fine, but just so you can have the hieroglyph, it's going to be in the descriptions below after I'm done posting this video, just so you guys can review this material and do it with the symbol, okay? So I want you to take a deep breath, and here we go. Athena, we are so grateful for you being in our reality in general, and we ask you to step in and help us understand the greater aspects of the shadow. You may now speak to Athena. All right. So, Athena, you specifically said that you wanted to talk a lot about like the shadow and positive focus. So we do have a couple questions here. One of the questions being that I really want to start off with first is when you're having a moment in your reality where internally something has to happen, but you have this high level of fear. How do we overcome this fear from stopping us from our inner knowing? Deep breath. Fear is merely an illusion, one set by oneself to limit one's potential when seeking the divine. If one understands that accessing the deepest levels of fear is a privilege, as any warrior got to overcome the fear by pushing against the grain, one will prevail, and the energies of inner knowing will once again become solidified. It's important to remember that all things will cause you fear, as all things are polaric. All changes inspire fear. All inner knowing pushes one towards change. To be limited by fear is to limit oneself from actual potential of self. So from this moment forward, when you experience fear, know that you're close to your mark, to experiencing a shift in one's reality. Fear, if anything, is only an indicator as to the proximity of your achievements. When one fears their own inner knowing, they blind themselves from the highest levels of truth within alchemy. The inner knowing always knows. It is the consciousness that doubts the inner knowing. Fear is only a byproduct between the yin and the yang when it comes to inner. One must have a level of fearlessness to pursue their ultimate desire. Only one gains this attribute by pushing against the grain. When fear strikes, one faces fear in the eyes and challenges the fear to stand true. On many occasions, the fear that lies deep within will only harbor itself to escape once confronted in such a style. Fear, in a way, is the enemy, but not the shadow, for the shadow and fear are not one and the same. The shadow experiences fear and attaches itself to fear to experience a level of safety, for safety is familiarity, and familiarity is home. So do not blame the shadow for having the polarity and the designation of fear, for the shadow is confused just as much as the consciousness is. The shadow is always one with the inner knowing. But it is fear of all change, that prevents us from accessing our inner knowing. So act upon your fears, then the mental attributes that construct your matter. For when you do so, you will access the highest levels of alchemy that will help you expand beyond the highest levels of limits ever saw possible. You may now ask your next question. Okay, so that was pretty clear. And that's actually a really good question because I was actually doing that earlier today as well. I made a major shift today, and I was kind of like questioning myself, like, oh my God, I know I should be doing this to get to the next step, but like, is it the best step to make? And everything kept telling me, you know this is something that's supposed to happen. Like, you've had this feeling before. Every time you fight this feeling and you overcome this feeling, something amazing happens. So are you gonna let fear right now stop you from getting to that level? And I'm always like, no, I can't. So thank you, Athena, for like reaffirming one of my practices already. And that's one of the things that you need to really tap into, is just, when fear is there at your doorstep, go ahead and fight it. Just be like, whatever, you don't have hold over me. What's really good? And then you're gonna see that your energy gets pushed further away. So from there, Athena, we'd like to know more about like the diving deeper into the shadow and what positive focus actually means. Like, what is the most important skill when it comes to the shadow and positive focus, and how do we master it? How do we know when we've mastered it? The shadow and positive focus are one and the same. The shadow desires positive focus. The shadow expands itself towards positivity. Simultaneously, as the shadow expands itself, it anchors itself towards the darkness or the negativity in which one has classified as negative. Negativity only takes the form in which your consciousness places that negativity in a category. That is to say, one event may seem negative to one person and positive to another. It is only based off of the consciousness of that individual experiencing that reality at that exact moment in which they sway the polarity of the shadow towards positive or negative. The shadow and the conscious versions of each individual are always trying to attain the same thing, inner knowing, inner power, and inner expansion. The shadow is always going to pursue positivity, but it has a problem understanding that to achieve a positive focus in its entirety, the past is of expansion through thoughts and mechanisms that construct the present moment. Though the past does not exist, it is very real within the human mind. Though the past is only being used by the to fortify its level of stagnancy, the past and the shadow do not twine themselves in every daily aspect. That is to say that there are gaps within your consciousness at any given moment that can be exploited to expand your consciousness towards a positive focus. Whenever a gateway towards negativity expands and opens itself, one must be conscious of the fact that they are in full control of changing the energy in that precise moment. It is through the shadow's experience of reliving the past that the shadow re-embeds itself or reconstructs an alternate reality that further traps a person into old patterns or developing new patterns that may seem negative within their own reality. When one chooses to understand the shadow and positive focus, one must be conscious that the battle against the shadow and its reconfiguration is endless, simple as eternity and infinity. One must always act upon themselves as a constant project towards readjusting the shadow towards positive focus. One must reparent, re-psychologize is what she said, and reattribute the shadow from ever experiencing attachment to a limiting belief. Not always will the shadow cooperate in this fashion, but you may always persuade the shadow due to its natural disposition towards always wanting to achieve positive focus. For it does not matter which dimensional layer you exist from, your dimensional layers as a multidimensional being will always expand themselves towards source and towards the ultimate version of self. That is all for now for this question. So, hold on. You answered what's the most important skill, which is basically understanding that you're constantly working on your shadow and that your shadow has loopholes and that it has the disposition to always want to achieve positivity, though it limits itself because it doesn't know how to let go of the past. So how do we master that? So we know when we've mastered it is the everyone take a deep breath. You will know you have attained this mastery when one doesn't contemplate the shadow. So you only know that you've attained this level of consciousness. You're kind of like living that vibration. And I definitely agree with it because that's something personally, like sometimes you're in deep meditation and you're trying to like overcome something and all of a sudden you forget what you're doing. And at that moment you're like, oh my God, did I lose it or am I connected? And when you have that vibration happening, you do delete something. So in a way, like when it becomes a lifestyle, you stop focusing and you stop like giving your power towards a certain vibration towards the past. So like I've been angry at people before. You know when you're fresh angry at that person, you're just like, ooh, I just can't, ooh, right? And like you carry that vibration for such a long time, but if you're really proactive, you're like, I'm not gonna think about that person, I'm not gonna look at their social media, I'm not gonna vibration, and you're constantly working towards that, eventually you forget about the scenario that made you mad in the first place. And you can see that with a lot of couples too, like where they get in a fight and then you might ask people after a long time, like, why did you guys fight that day? And they might be like, I don't even remember, right? So it's something that no longer registers itself in your mind. And your traumas can be treated that way. They don't have to be so long permanent in your own consciousness every day. So you basically know that you've mastered it when you no longer think about it, is essentially the answer. Okay, cool. So, Athena, I have another question. How do you stay positive in intense moments of emotion? Like when you are feeling the deepest levels of fear or anger or negativity, how do you actually put yourself into a level of controlling yourself? One must understand that inner consciousness is inner knowing. If one is conscious of the fact that they're beginning to attain anger, in that same moment they have the same level of calibration to diffuse the anger. Many choose to experience anger because they choose not to master themselves. Take a deep breath. When one does not master themselves, then they fall prey to the sways of the present moment. Every present moment will dictate new opportunities and new doors in which one can pursue. When one begins to feel anger, one can choose not to have anger. Letting go of this anger in the present moment, understanding that the events taking place are orchestrated by the shadow, for the shadow has attachment to the familiar, and that this moment, in the present moment, that may be triggering you is home. That is the highest vibration of all. Oh, hold on. Oh, there is a huge hornet, so you guys give me a quick second because it is going to freak me out if you don't anywhere near me. Okay. Hopefully it's gone. And if not, then I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna walk. So I don't really care. Okay, so when it comes to the shadow and polarity, how does that like attach itself into Hermetic law? Is the next question. So how does shadow and polarity tie into Hermetic law? Take another deep breath, everyone. It is Memorial Day weekend, so you know how it goes. There's a bunch of people walking around doing their own thing. Take another deep breath. All is connected, all is well now. The shadow is interconnected with every fiber of every cosmic being. That is to say, that every star that shines brightly within the cosmic sky has a similar shadow that exists in another layer of reality. Take another deep breath. That is to say, that every thought has a shadow. Every essence has a shadow. The shadow is simply a state of being. That state of being is defined by the thoughts in which we enact definition. That is to say that the shadow is only ever demonized when inconvenient. The shadow must always be. It can never be avoided. It can never be changed from its primordial nature. The shadow has to exist for the self-fulfillment of every being. For every being, regardless of their vibration and radiance of the cosmos, has a shadow. Within the Hermetic law, these shadows give us the opportunity for advancement through options, gender, correspondence, rhythm. Each one of these attributes gives us the opportunity to reshape the shadow and create new versions of the shadows that surround us. For all shadow is simply soul, and all soul is simply unity of the self. When we understand this virtue, we can simply detach from all drama that lies deep within and gets harbored extensively without. Take a deep breath. So you're basically saying that like the shadow and Hermetic law, like the fact that we actually have a shadow gives us the opportunity to create things. Without the shadow, you would be locked into something that might not be convenient for you. So like it's like your shadow reforms itself and creates new attachments similar to your brain. So there comes moments where you're thinking to yourself like, oh yeah, I overcome this one issue in my shadow. And then all of a sudden, like, because your consciousness changes over like a certain situation, then all of a sudden consciousness evolves. And then when your consciousness evolves, your shadow towards anger is gone, but maybe your shadow towards envy is like amplified. And that's a very common thing that I guess a lot of people don't think about. And one of the other things that she showed me, your shadow, because like yin is always going to grow versions of this against you. Convenient that you don't actually end up kind of wanting to work with it. But in all reality, the shadow can create aspects that help you move forward because, you know, I know a lot of people that are like that. You know, like you have this really dark shadow inside of you and that's your drive. Like your parents told you you'd never amount to anything. So that makes you hustle and you prove them wrong, right? That's a really good vibration that brings people. Even though it's driven in pain, that shadow is something that just drives people forward. And when you're having your own experience with yourself, like you have to always be conscious of the fact that you're going to evolve and that your shadow, you know, can be something not something that sabotages you but works with you, but the shadow always has to be there. And the best way I can explain this is like, you know, certain people in business are really, really good at business because part of them is can turn on like their heart in certain aspects and their shadow can turn on at other aspects, and they can balance the two to achieve a result that they normally wouldn't be able to achieve. So that's a very powerful message that she had for us as well. The last question that we have from Patreon, and I'm actually asking these pretty quick, I didn't realize. It's easier to channel Athena today than it was Artemis the other day. What's the most important life skill to you, Athena, that you feel like we should be mastering in this moment so we can understand higher levels of reality? You must understand the level of self-mastery. Back and forth. Everything ebbs between the dark and the light, the non-conscious and the conscious. One of the greatest life skills that one can master is to be present without objection towards anything other than the self. One must understand that all vibration is simple and only complicated deep within the conscious mind. All vibration is simple and only complicated within the conscious mind. Take a deep breath. And exhale. We're going to be using the symbol that Athena diamond, right? So not like a jeweled diamond, but you know those diamonds that go kind of like crossways? You're going to imagine a diamond like that. And then you know how the female symbol has a line going down and does that little X? So you're going to see a diamond with a line coming down as a little T. So it's almost like a planetary symbol or the female symbol that we use in medical science, okay? This is the symbol of Athena, and we're going to get attuned to this symbol. By tuning ourselves to this symbol, we open ourselves to expansive wisdom, to the inner knowings of our subconscious dream realms, and to the power of war when we enact our knowledge to change our reality. For without movement and wisdom, there is nothing. Wisdom and movement lead to everything. So now let us experience that vibration of Athena. Deep breath in. And I'm going to also project it towards you on the camera. So just embrace the energy. Take a deep breath. Give me full control over your energy system for just this broadcast. And at the end of this broadcast, you have it back. I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let go of your mind's eye, let go of your mind, let go of your energy system. Allow Athena to step into your reality. Allow Athena to move around anything that's there that is limiting you. Allow Athena to heal your divine wisdom and inspiration. Deep breath. Keep giving into this vibration. Don't fight it, just experience it. Deep breath. We're going to allow this energy of Athena to step deep into our throat chakras. Deep into our third eyes. Deep into our subconscious. Deep breath. And continue to embrace this energy, knowing that you and Athena are one. Don't try to focus on this energy, just be the energy. Let Athena attune you to divine wisdom. If you see an owl, that is normal. It is the messenger of Athena. You may even see a smaller man with tiny wings. In this moment, as we meditate with Athena's attunement, allow any messages that need to come through to step into your mind. Jot them down or keep them conscious in your mind's eye. We embrace the energy of Athena. We embrace the energy of Athena. We embrace the energy of Athena. We are attuned to the vibrations and the wisdom of Athena, and we invite her to guide us towards our highest wisdom. Within our feng shui areas of our homes, the feng shui areas within our elements, and the higher levels of our internal cosmos, so that we may achieve godliness within our shadow. Deep breath. Allow the energy to just flow and step into your system. She's saying all shadow is one. Deep breath. I want you to set the intention that you're connecting with your shadow in this present moment. You may feel it, hear it, see it, sense it, know it. Take a deep breath in and out, letting go of any limitations that exist, connecting, staying connected with the goddess Athena, absorbing her alchemy. And we let this energy infuse itself with our shadow body. For we are nothing more than our shadow body and our soul. Deep breath in and out, and let it go. The shadow is all but a mere illusion. The shadow is here to help you grow. The shadow is only here to be an enemy if you choose to remain stagnant. For your stagnation will lead to death. Your growth is imperative to understand that your shadow and self are one. That your shadow and self are one. That your shadow and self are one. Many experience an abandonment of a twin in their consciousness, an unborn twin that never emerges from the nothingness. You and your twin are one. All twins exist in the now. All twins lie within the shadow. Take a deep breath in and out. Letting your shadow, yourself, become one. And both of you focusing on one positive focus at a time. Choose a positive focus at this time. Happiness is the easiest goal to attain. You both choose to experience happiness. Now, what is the shadow attached to that they wish to continue to carry towards happiness? Assist your shadow in understanding that this baggage is no longer necessary for the expansive growth in which both of you will attain simultaneously. This is a joint effort. Take a deep breath and take the next few minutes to do this now. Allowing the goddess Athena to help you. Embrace her energy, embrace her alchemy. Allowing the chakras to open to the vibration of Athena, opening your heart centers to this internal knowledge, the ancient wisdom of Athena that is harbored deep within our DNA. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And she says, I want you to meditate with my vibration daily for the next 7 days, calling upon my name 3 times to express the inner wisdom that lies deep within. I want you to express your wisdom towards me and allow the messages of my owl to come back and forth between your dreams. Allow yourself to have a connection with me so I may embrace your higher wisdom as well. Deep breath in and out, and let it go. And that is the end of today's transmission. This one's shorter than other ones, but I kind of feel like this was mostly about the vibration that was taking place and giving you like a clear message on what to focus on in your shadow. I might do a second one of these, one where I'm more in my element. But I feel like we got really good answers when it comes to dealing with your shadow. Like, there's so many different concepts that you can take when it comes to embracing your shadow, and just getting a different aspect of different guides in general will help us expand. So I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, Lila said that it was super powerful. Yeah, I'm super happy. Barb says thank you. Thank you guys for showing up, and share this with your friends if you feel like anybody needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe. Give this a thumbs up. Go ahead, give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for one-on-one coaching to accelerate your ascension, check out the link below. Schedule a free clarity call with me to see if you're a good fit for the program. And I will see you in our next broadcast. Have a good rest of your day. Boops.